What about you? And this one here is just for information on anybody that needs to know a wee bit more about the MOTs in Northern Ireland. So on Monday, the 27th of January 2020, we learned that the DVA, the Driver Vehicle Agency, is suspending MOTs, and they're issuing 4-month extensions on cars that have an existing test appointment. So that doesn't mean that if your car's up for MOT in February and you have not applied for it, that you're going to get an extension. So there's maybe a few wee things here that I'll need to maybe point out. There's a few wee details that, just in case people don't know the whole way of it. I MOT cars all the time. We put through one on Saturday. We applied for one today, and just to let you know what the score is. Okay, to clarify, this is purely for Northern Ireland. This does not apply to the Republic of Ireland, nor does it apply to Great Britain. The United Kingdom consists of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. So there are two separate entities that make up the UK. It says so on your passport. This is a British passport. I also have an Irish passport as well. But so in Northern Ireland, the MOTs, the Ministry of Transport, the test is conducted by a government agency called the Driver Vehicle Agency, or the DVA-NI. And so they do the test for cars, and they have 17 test centres spread across Northern Ireland, and mostly there's in rural areas, and there'll be numerous ones in the urban areas. So what has came to light, and it came to light in around December time. There's a few media outlets are saying it was a result of a whistleblower, and then that led to insurance inspectors going around and looking at the equipment in the test centres. So the test centres consist of rollers, headlight alignment, and scissor lifts. But these scissor lifts, they're not your normal scissor lift that you would find in a garage, an independent garage. These scissor lifts have a platform on them that can move the wheels, can shake the wheels, so that it moves the bottom of the wheel side to side, and that shows up any problems with ball joints or worn bushes or things like that. So these things, they're able to shake the car. So it lifts the car up and it lifts the car down in a normal scissor manner, but it also shakes the car. So the whole thing, the whole structure, the whole lift itself, the metal lift shakes, and they put through they say about 5,000 cars per day in Northern Ireland. So it's a huge throughput. It takes about 20 minutes to do a test. It's heavily automated. There was a lot of money went into this about 10 or so years ago, and they converted the tests from just driving over a pit with a guy underneath and poking at it with a bar till this automated system. And it works quite well, and it's like a sort of conveyor belt system. And it also takes away a bit of opinion as well away from the tester. If the ball joint's worn or whatever it is, it shows, and it's the movement is there. So it's fairly reliable, and of course it is there for safety and to make sure that the cars on the road are in a good condition. So it's been fairly well reported in all the media outlets. Belfast Telegraph was running a bit of scandal on it and stuff like that. So there's 55 of these scissor lifts throughout the province, the country, and 48 of them were found to have quite substantial cracks in them. And the cracks are because this thing shakes about, So there was a photo came out of one of these cracks, and let's just show you that first. So there's the crack there. Quite a substantial crack, as you can see. So that's quite a gash there. So we put a car through MOT on Saturday, and the lift wasn't used. There was cones around the lift, and the car was just sort of tested for the headlights, and the brakes and stuff like that, and it was out within 10 minutes. So it was sort of half a test. So the decision was taken on Monday to just cancel all MOT appointments completely, and anybody that has an appointment, a date, an actual date, will get an exemption. So that doesn't unfortunately apply to all cars. Any car that is used for a private hire or reward, i.e. a taxi, I think that will mostly apply to, under the legislation, that they're not allowed to issue extension certificates for those cars. The other one is, whenever in Northern Ireland, the test is 4 years. So when your car's 4 year old, it'll need an MOT certificate. So it's a 2016 car. This is 2020. So any car coming in 2016, and its anniversary of its first registration in Northern Ireland, will require an MOT. Now, the problem there is that car has not had an MOT certificate, so it can't be extended. So you can't extend what you haven't got. So the exemption or extension certificate doesn't apply to those cars either. Now, the DVA, the Driver Vehicle Agency, say that those cars will be prioritised, and they will be given dates. But at present, at the time of this recording, at the time I'm doing this, which is the Tuesday, the 28th, the day after this announcement, all MOTs are cancelled. So effectively, all the centres are closed. So to give you a wee idea of that lift, there's a fairly good photo. That's my car on one of those scissor lifts there. So it gives you an idea of what we're talking about. So those plates are able to move left to right, and it actually moves the wall of the tire back and forward quite a bit. There's quite a bit of movement in that goes in that. It's quite strong. There's hydraulic rams on each corner on each plate. So as well as going up and down, it's able to do it side by side, and that's how it determines. That's how the inspector is able to determine whether there's movement in bushings. And this thing isn't playing ball here. All right, I've got it working again. So that's not a great photo there, but that's a side-on view, and see if we can expand that a wee bit. So that's the scissor there. That's my Jeep on top of it. So that's what we're talking about. So, okay, we don't really know when these test centres are going to be reopened. The extension certificates will last for 4 months. I beg your pardon. 4 months extension. I applied for an MOT today for another car, and it gave us a date in March time. So it gave us a date. So we're expecting to get an extension certificate for that. So if your car is up for MOT in the next 30 days, within the next 30 days, apply for it as soon as possible. You'll get a date on the website, on the normal manner online, and MOT, DVA, NI, MOT online there, and it will give you a date, and you go through the normal procedure. So we're expecting hopefully we'll get, if it's not a taxi, we'll get an MOT extension for that, and that'll throw that back. We really do expect there'll be a massive backlog in a few months' time. They're going to change all 55 lifts. So even though only 48 of the 55 had cracks in them, they're going to change all of them, and they estimate £30,000 to £40,000 per lift. So if we take the upper figure at 40 grand, and it's 55, that's 2.2 million pounds that's going to cost. So it's quite a bit of kit now, and yeah. So there's plans as well. I was actually looking at the day in Hyde Bank in Belfast of a super centre 8 lanes, one for HGVs. HGVs aren't affected, by the way. HGVs don't use those lifts, so they don't. They just use the ordinary hydraulic jack on the axle over a pit. So HGVs are not affected. This is just motor vehicles. Anything that goes on that scissor lift that I showed you in the photographs there. So I think that's it. Any comments? Anybody knows any more information? This is just and purely for information. We're not here to slag it off. The media here in Northern Ireland is, uses words like shambles and chaos and all that sort of jazz. But it is what it is. We'll have to sort of work through it. And some people think it's great because they're just, they're getting an extension for free and stuff. But you're just throwing the ball down the road. It means that in 4 months' time, you run the risk of forgetting all about it, and you just drive away at it there. The other thing is now driving with no MOT. If you do nothing, you run the risk of, if your car hasn't got a valid test certificate and you're driving it on the road, and if you're in an accident, I would seriously doubt that your insurance will cover you, because the car should not have been on the road. So I'm not an insurance assessor or work in any way for that, but that would be my personal take on that. I think that's just pure logic. The other thing is, if you don't have a valid MOT certificate, you won't be able to get road tax. And road tax, there's nearly every traffic car in Northern Ireland has automatic number plate recognition, and it'll flag up right away that the car's been on the road untaxed, and you will automatically get a fine through the post with that, or pulled over and stopped. And I would suggest there may be a lot of ANPR sites set up in the next coming months. However, that's yet to be seen. I don't know whether they'll take a lenient view or not, considering it's the ordinary punter. It's us that does MOTs and MOT preparation. And I fixed loads of... My bread and butter is a lot of work that I do is MOT failures. And it's bad news for me. Wee bit... I was going to say this at the start, but this may deplete my content of this YouTube channel here for a few months, because people won't be putting their cars through MOT, and I won't be getting MOT failures in. The usual broken spring, ball joint, suspension, bushings and stuff that you see on the channel there. So you're able to get a date, and then if you're able to just get an exemption for 4 months, that's I'm not going to be doing any MOT failures for 4 months here, and then it'll go mental in the summertime. But well, it's yet to be seen when they get these 55 lifts installed. So I can just about speak. This is purely off the cuff, this video. I wasn't going to shoot it at all, but I had a wee discussion. I think Leon from Budget and Leggett is going to have a wee chat about it, because he's being contacted, I think, and people are asking him about it. But he lives in the Republic of Ireland, and they have the NCT, which is a completely different test entirely. It runs under completely different legislation and is in a different country. So this is Northern Ireland only, so I can't stress that enough. And so there you go. Hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe you got something out of it, a wee bit more information. Questions, comments, concerns, stick them down below. And all the best. See you for the next one. Thanks. Bye.